Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a Warlock build that's all about Strand, and is going to be able to take advantage of the current Strand mods, as well as the new Strand mods we're going to be getting in Act 3 to make this thing into a powerhouse of a build. So if you're looking to have a build ready so you can immediately take advantage of these new mods, then this is going to be the build for you. Now, since the new mods are all about tangles, this build focuses on creating tangles as well as creating threatlings. So we're just going to be spamming threatlings and tangles as well as suspending a bunch of enemies. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys aren't already. And now let's get into it, and first we're going to start with our exotics, and I think this time we're going to be starting with our exotic piece of armor. So today we're going to be wearing the Swarmers. Whenever we destroy some tangles, they'll spawn some threatlings, and also our threatlings are going to unravel targets that they damage. And this is going to apply to every single one of our threatlings, not just the ones that we get from destroying some tangles. Just anytime that our threatlings hit something, they're going to unravel them. And with the amount of threatlings we're going to be getting out there, we're just going to be unraveling a ton of enemies. And this is also really great because Unravel has a lot of synergy with the artifact, and it's going to be able to do a ton of different things. But we'll get into that a little later when we actually talk about the artifact mods. Now for our exotic weapon, Strand actually has a lot of different options, but I decided to go with this Quicksilver Storm since this weapon is just fantastic, and it recently got some of the nerfs to it undone, so it's actually much better now, and it can build up rockets much faster, kind of like it used to before. And one thing that I also really like about it is that if you have the catalyst done, every time that you get a final blow with your grenade launcher, it's going to be able to create tangles. So it's going to give us a very easy way of creating tangles, and since that's such a big part of the build and some of the synergy we have in the artifact, this is just like the perfect weapon. Now, you do not have to go with the Quicksilver Storm, I would say. There's many other different ways of creating tangles, especially with the amount of threatlings we're going to be getting out there. So if you prefer another Strand weapon, you could also go with that. But I just think that the Quicksilver is fantastic, and it's still one of my favorite just Strand weapons in the game. Now for our subclass, we're just going to be doing this on pure Strand. I think it works the best with this, and we can really just make the most out of all the Strand mods if we're on pure Strand. For your class ability, I would say the Healing Rift is going to be the best way to go, and that's a bit of extra survivability, so it's going to be pretty good. For your melee, you don't really have a choice, but the Arcane Needle is a fantastic thing. Every time they hit something, it unravels them, and it just adds even more unravel to the build. For the grenade, you want to be on the Threatling Grenade, just so you can get even more Threatlings out there. Now moving on to our aspects, the first one we're going to have is Weaver's Skull. Every time that we activate our class ability, it releases our Purge Threatlings. So we actually kind of send out just an army of threatlings as soon as we drop our class ability, so you definitely want to use your class ability as soon as we have it, preferably behind cover. It's very funny whenever you drop your rift and you see like a ton of threatlings just immediately go forward right into all the enemies. It is very satisfying. And that's not all with this aspect, because whenever you defeat enemies with strand damage, you'll have a chance to generate some purged threatlings. And those are the threatlings that just kind of go around you, that you release whenever you put down your class ability. But that's actually not the only way to release them. If you just do some damage to a target where you have purged threatlings, they will actually go and attack that target as well. So even if you don't have your rift, you'll be able to use those purged threatlings to use attack enemies. Now our second aspect is going to be the Wanderer, and this is what's going to give us a bit of suspension every time any tangles are involved. Whenever we throw our tangle at an enemy, it's going to do a suspending burst afterwards, or whenever we destroy a tangle, afterwards it will do a suspending burst. So every tangle that you see is essentially just a way of suspending targets, so you can throw it into a group of enemies, or if you see a tangle in the middle of some enemies, make sure that you shoot it, not only for the suspend, but also for the extra damage that it does, and for spawning those threatlings. Since it's also going to spawn threatlings, whether you throw it or you shoot it, it's always going to spawn those couple of extra threatlings. And to add even extra synergy, this aspect is also going to let your threatling final blows create tangles. So your threatlings are going to be able to create tangles, and your tangles are able to suspend and also create more threatlings, so then they can create more tangles, so you can suspend more enemies, so you can create more threatlings. So I'm pretty sure you guys can see the synergy here. It is fantastic, and these two aspects right here is like they were made for each other. And suspending enemies is still quite strong and makes dealing with them so much easier. Now moving on to the fragments, the first one is going to be the Thread of Warding. Picking up a normal power will grant us Wall Windmail, and this is really good. It just gives a bit of extra survivability, and it's fairly easy to proc. All you need is an orb, and you'll be able to proc this. After that, we're going to have the Thread of Generation. Whenever we deal some damage, that will give us Grenade Energy. And this is really good because it just means that we can use a grenade a lot more often, and it's also any type of damage, whether it's weapon damage, ability damage, some of the strand damage that's just gonna be flying all over the place. Any type of damage is gonna be able to get us our grenade back faster, so we can just use it a lot more often. After that, we're gonna have the throw evolution. This will make it so threatlings can throw farther away, and they deal additional damage. Since threatlings are such a big part of the build, we definitely wanna have this, especially for that extra damage. That extra damage in some of the higher end content definitely makes a lot of a difference. And lastly, we're gonna have the threat of rebirth, meaning that whenever we get some strand weapon final blows, there's a chance that it creates a threatling, just getting even more threatlings on the field, just so they can go and do their thing. Now you guys might be wondering, what weapon should I pair up with the Quicksilver? And I think anything really works. Anything that's in the artifact, so something like a linear, a machine gun, a rocket, all of those are gonna be fantastic choices for your heavy. And for your special, I think a fusion rifle is just gonna be pretty good. In the background, you're gonna see me use no composure plus scintillation for the double fusion, so I can take advantage of like particle deconstruction. But like I said, as long as your heavy is strand and is one of the ones in the artifact, you're pretty much gonna be in a pretty good spot. Okay, so now for the mods that we're gonna have on this build, we of course can't really show you all the mods here since some of them are not out, but we're basically only missing 2 different mods. It's gonna be one right here at the very end, and one over here on this slot. But these are the mods that you wanna have right now. You want Unraveling Orbs. This is gonna give you Unraveling rounds to all your strand weapons whenever you pick up some orbs, and also your strand weapons with your increased damage to strand debuff targets. So if something gets unraveled by your threat lanes, if you sever something, your strand weapons are just gonna do more damage. So our auto rifle is just gonna be doing more damage pretty much all the time, since we're gonna be always getting some threat lanes out there, and they're always gonna be applying some of those debuffs. Elemental Siphons is gonna be pretty good because it's gonna make it so we can get some more elemental pickups, so it just means that we get even more tangles. Horse Shuttle is also gonna be really good whenever we damage some unraveled targets. They will spawn threat lanes. And the synergy that we're gonna have with this is gonna be insane, since our threat lanes are already unraveled targets. Then if we damage those targets, then they're gonna spawn themselves even more threat lanes, so more enemies can be unraveled. This is the mod that you definitely wanna have. And then on top of it, our threat lanes are also gonna be applying Sever, meaning that they're gonna be applying Unravel and Sever whenever they hit enemies. They're always gonna be putting tons of debuffs on everything, meaning that everything's gonna be taking more damage. Now those definitely have the most synergy, but then things like Dreadful Finisher are also gonna be good, so you can always have a bunch of special ammo. And then of course the Defibrillating Blast, because of any activity with champions, this is gonna be really good. It gives you free healing, free jolting, and free bow charge. So it's fantastic in any activity with champions, you definitely wanna have this on. Now for the other 2 mods that are coming, the first one's Bioweave. Whenever you hit something with your tangles, it's going to sever them, so it's going to give us another way of severing targets, and every time that you pick up a tangle, it also reduces the tangle cooldown. And that is the cooldown in between where you can actually spawn tangles, since Bungie doesn't just let you spawn unlimited amount of tangles, because it would just make Strand the best subclass in the game, I guess. But with this, every time that you pick up a tangle, it will reduce that tangle cooldown, so you can actually make a lot more of them, and just get more of them out there. And since tangles are such a big part of this build, this is gonna be amazing. More tangles just means more threat lanes, more suspensions, and also more applying Sever, which is gonna be fantastic. I think this mod right here is gonna be a huge buff to pretty much every single strand build, since just being able to get more tangles is just such a big advantage. Now the second one, 2 Shreds, will make it so whenever we do some sustained damage to severed targets, it will unravel them. So again, just more ways to unravel targets, and whenever we defeat a severed target, it will create a hotspot of strand energy that gives ourselves and our teammates some woven mail. And this is going to give us some crazy survivability. The only question is how big the range on this like strand hotspot is going to be. Because I think that there's probably going to be a cooldown. You're not going to be able to make a ton of these. But I'm just kind of wondering like how big the radius is going to be, and how long is the woven mill gonna last on us. Because it's something that has a big radius or just gives us a lot of time in the woven mill, this thing is gonna be fantastic, and it's gonna add a lot of survivability to pretty much not only you, but the whole team as a whole. Even if they're not on strand, they could definitely take advantage of this. And it even has a boosted version that makes it so unraveling projectiles deal increased damage. So everything that you have that unravels, like our threatlings, our weapons with unraveling rounds, are going to be doing some more damage with those unraveling projectiles, just increasing our damage even more. So these two are definitely going to be perks that you're going to have on, and they're just going to increase the lethality and just the debuffs that you put out there with the build, while at the same time increasing your survivability. It's going to be amazing. And lastly, for the mods on this build, we're going to have Harmonic Siphon, so our auto rifle. And lastly, for the mods that are running on this build, we're going to have Harmonic Siphon, so we can make some orbs with our auto rifle, and also our heavy if we really need to. And then Heavy Ammo Scout, as well as Heavy Ammo Finder, so we can always have some ammo for ourselves, and also our teammates. For the gauntlets, we're going to be running Impact Induction, Heavy Handed, as well as Fastball, so we can throw our Thrilling Grenade a little farther away. So whenever we do some damage with our power melee, we get more grenade energy, and also so every time that you kill something with our melee, we make some more power. For your chest piece, you pretty much just have the resistances. These are going to change depending on the activity you're doing, but keeping Concussive Damper on is always usually a good idea. For the boots, we have some pretty standard stuff. We're going to have Absolution, Better Already, and Recuperation. And the reason I have both these on, you could also go with double Recuperation, is just because we don't really have a lot of like built-in healing into the Strand class. So I decided to go with 2 survivability mods, and one that just pretty much gives us everything back whenever you pick it up. And lastly, for the class item, we have Powerful Attraction, Bomber, as well as Reaper. This will pick up any orbs that are around in the area whenever we put down our Rift. And this will give us some more orbs after using our class ability whenever we get some kills with our weapons. So again, just making some more orbs or regenerating more abilities so we can spam abilities. And with that, that's going to be the end of the build, boys. Now you guys pretty much have everything that you need to go in there and start spamming tangles and threatlings to your heart's content. Now when it comes to the gameplay loop for this build, it is pretty simple. You start with your grenade or your melee, and then you start shooting things with your auto rifle. Once you put the debuff on somebody with either your threatlings or with your grenade, you're going to start spawning more threatlings. You're going to get unraveling rounds. Whenever you have your rift, you want to put it down so you can throw some more threatlings. After that, you pretty much just throw any tangles that you see, shoot any tangles that you see, so you can activate the suspension, and that will give you some more threatlings. That's pretty much it. You just want to spam threatlings, spam tangles, and that is pretty much the whole build. And just remember to put down your rift whenever you have it, so you can spawn more threatlings, so you can get more of them out there, and also so you can just pick up any orbs that might be around the area. But with that, we're going to end today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Like always, the dim link to this build will be in the description in case you guys want to try it out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.